Life 500 years ago was very, very difficult. Clothing that people had was coarse and scratched. Food was scarce. Your skin cracked in the winter and there was no lotion to put on it. By mid-30s, the average person in England had lost most of his teeth. The age of the average person rarely exceeded 40, and life in general was very, very harsh. Today, we live with tremendous wealth. The average tax-paying citizen in our society enjoys luxuries that kings of yesteryear could not imagine. We have ample food, wonderful clothing, shoes available. You walk into a Walmart, you see racks and racks, rows and rows of all goods and every imaginable need right there available. And by and large, we have enough money to purchase it. Man used to suffer, man no longer suffers today. And in that sense, a person may say to himself, the concept of Mashiach is interesting, but not really that relevant. Look, I do quite well. I have a nice home. I earn a good living. My children are in yeshiva. What do I need Mashiach for? Going to Israel? I'll buy a house in Israel. Malchus based David, the kingdom. I don't know. It doesn't mean much. And I'd like to share with you a very interesting perspective. Whilst man 500 years ago used to suffer physically, and we no longer suffer physically, I contend that we suffer far more emotionally and psychologically. The amount of grief, the amount of unrest, the amount of nervousness, anxiety, the amount of suffering that the average person goes through in our current world is far greater than any person could have ever imagined 500 years ago. The amount of children who are brought up in broken homes, the amount of divorce that shouldn't be, the amount of addictions, the amount of people running on empty, an addict who craves something because he's lacking something in the essence of him. There are 15 million cases of clinical depression in this country. Clinical depression means that depression has gotten to the state where the person can no longer function normally. That doesn't tell you how many people are borderline, how many people are close, how many people are just not happy. And if you Google the word happiness, you'll quickly find 80 million websites will sell you happiness, because the reality is that when you look at the world out there, no one is happy. It's almost like the colors are washed out. It's almost like the joy of life is gone. People are running, doing back and forth and back, busier than ever before, but the sense of balance, harmony, peace, and happiness is gone. When Mashiach comes, all of that changes. Instantly, every human being understands why they were created. Instantly, every human being sees Hashem right there. And instantly, every human being values their life because they understand what they can accomplish, why they were put on the planet, and there's a tremendous lust, a hunger for growing, for accomplishing. The goodness in the human comes out. Every human being's natural side to help, to be generous, to be magnanimous comes to the fore. People live in peace and harmony because their good nature comes out. And more than anything, we see Hashem, understand the value of mitzvahs, and every human being is happy, complete, and satisfied. If you're not sure why we need Mashiach, just look into the mental health field. It's the only field today that you can be guaranteed is recession-proof, because there's such an unending need. People suffer, and people go through such travails and difficulties. And when you hear just another story of a needless divorce, another child who's abused, another anxious person who can barely function, say to yourself, it shouldn't be that way. It's not the way Hashem wants it. It's not the way it should be. And we wait for Mashiach, we daven for Mashiach, so that Hashem should bring it, so that our lives here should be so much more meaningful, so much more productive, so that we will understand why we're here. And at the end of that, we enjoy our existence here to a much greater extent.